Hey, it's Ed or Nate. I had a custom opening for this episode, and then no one sat down to record it with me. So here is what you get to look forward to on today's episode instead. There's two plots here, and they both merge into each other, and even I'm a little confused. And I read through the reviews, and they're also like, I. Words about books, Ben.
Apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I could have said it's talking about Tolkien, and then you'd be like, oh, I guess we're doing that.
I'm not prepared.
This is whatever I want it to be, apparently.
Hang on. I haven't read anything for this.
Yeah, that's fine. This was put on a few of the Patreon polls and then didn't win. So
well, we've had great luck with that shit so far. So,
well, these were the losers, so it's got to be good, right?
I've had about
gotta be good.
I've had about enough of your Patreon polls. I feel like maybe I need to run the Patreon polls for a little while. Remember the last time I ran it and we read the Maltese Falcon and it was fun?
Yeah, but that didn't have any child abuse, Ben.
Depends how old that one girl was.
Yeah, I guess it did have. yeah, I guess there were some questionable things.
There was abuse.
I'm gonna need you to strip. Well, if we do that, then we'll never be able to love each other. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I'm going to have you arrested at the end of this. So.
Yeah, because he was my partner. Ben, we're talking about Burn Notice.
Oh, that's right.
Fix.
Yeah.
By Todd Goldberg. Yeah. See? It's not that bad.
Sorry. My soul kind of left my body there for a minute.
There's zero child abuse in this book, Ben.
Yeah, isn't this like a TBS show or something?
Now, USA, back when USA was a network people regularly tuned into. Sponsor us, USA. We know that you have no better options.
I guess since I read Murder, She Wrote, I have to endure this. I have a confession. I've never seen a single episode of Burn Notice. The only thing I know is...
Yeah, I figured.
Bruce Campbell is in it, and also it stars the most generic-looking white man I've ever seen.
Jeffrey Donovan looks like a generic white man to you?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably fair.
I mean, he's fit, but his face is just like it's like a square with a triangle on top of it. That's his defining features.
Yeah, and now he voices Machine Head or something for Invincible. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another show I haven't seen.
Yeah. What do you see, Ben?
Most recently I watched The Righteous Gemstones, and then I watched What We Do in the Shadows. I've been watching a lot of Dropout, Game Changer, the new Dimension 20's out.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he was on Law and Order. And I saw a clip of that.
Yeah, he was.
And it was not great.
No, Law and Order got canceled shortly after he was on it.
I thought this was The Return.
Oh God, was that The Return?
I think it was The Return, Ben.
Man.
And I don't blame him so much as the writing was terrible. It was a guy telling his partner so the audience knows, just like a brief about what he is. He's the loose cannon cop who doesn't like to play by the rules. Ben.
If we're going to keep this thing going, you got to know something about me. I speak my mind. Probably about things I shouldn't speak my mind about, but it's just how I'm wired.
I mean, that's just good writing right there.
Well, that should narrow it down a little.
We've never seen that before.
Is there another kind? I honestly don't know. So what for
So
everybody
burn notice,
else?
Ben.
What is burn notice?
So Jeffrey Donovan is Michael
I
Weston.
really keep
Ben.
thinking you're going to say Dahmer.
He used to be a spy, Ben. In the pilot episode, he's like securing some deal with some unsavory people about maybe stop terrorizing these oil fields because the U.S. needs those oil fields. It started in the Bush years.
So is he like with
So
the CIA?
yes, it's with the CIA. So he's a good guy, Ben. That's how that works. That's how that works. He's a good guy.
I think they might be worse than the cops.
Well, at least they can only do it to other countries, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that,
theoretically.
the same used to be true of the Marines.
I don't know what you're talking about, Ben. Did something happen?
A lot. A lot has happened.
So, in the middle of this deal, he gets a phone call and they burned him. So basically, he's fired. Except when you're fired as a high-level spy working for the government, you basically didn't exist in a lot of places. So they freeze all your bank accounts and they basically tell you to go fuck yourself. What they did is they ended up dumping him in Miami, and oh god. And if he tries to leave Miami, they'll be all over him. He's got to figure out who burned him and why, Ben. And he only has like 8 seasons to do that.
It doesn't sound like he's very good at figuring out why or why.
It just keeps going deeper, Ben.
I mean, who can burn you? Like, surely there's like.
Well, why did they burn him? Right?
Oh.
That's one of the questions, because he didn't do anything that the government didn't, tell him to do.
And the government would never tell you to do anything bad. They always stand by their man, the government.
CIA, and they're the good guys, Ben.
They've never betrayed anyone.
No.
It must be some bad actor in the CIA.
There you go. That's the thing.
Yeah, there's a traitor that's not him.
So he wakes up in Miami. His extremely overly, yeah, we've all been there. Obviously, this is very relatable.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the Middle East on business, and you wake up hungover in Miami with a broken rib.
Will Smith sings a song about it
all the time.
Cuban cigar, he bites it. It's for the look. He doesn't light it.
So his ex is there. Because he never removed her from his contact list, I guess. I don't know.
Right, like his emergency contact list?
Yes.
Oh, so like the hospital calls her?
Yeah. Because he manages to make it on a plane out of the country and then passes out.
Okay.
And so they've got an on again, off again, will they, won't they thing going on, Ben. And also she's incredibly violent. And her first thought is to either shoot someone or blow someone up. She's also a gun runner.
Like illegally or just Florida stuff?
Well, little column A, little column B. I mean, it's Florida. Who's to say what's illegal in Florida anyway?
I think if you're on your own property, you could do anything you want.
That's my God-given right.
O.J. Simpson moved there so that he could keep all his money. But then he still somehow lost all his money.
And then you've got Sam Axe, which that's Bruce Campbell.
He's in good hands.
He
That guy
was,
named Spider-Man.
yeah, that's true. Sam's gimmick is that he's retired, and he's really good at schmoozing with the older, unmarried, widowed ladies of Miami.
Did they just turn Bruce Campbell loose in Miami?
Yes, it's Bruce Campbell doing the role I'm sure he's always wanted to do. Most of the time. Oh yeah, I should also mention that these are wealthy older ladies that he gets with.
I
so
assumed. Why else
he
would
gets
you?
like, yeah, exactly. He gets like nice cars and also lots of alcohol. I think every scene he's in, he's got a drink in, unless they're
I think
in
that's
an
just the
action
tap
scene.
water in Florida.
Sounds like a wonderful place.
They
Why don't we all
removed
go
all
to Florida?
they removed all the fluoride, and they
Well,
put
yeah, we
in.
need to get rid of. Obviously, you don't want fluoride in your water.
No, they put in a bunch of
That will
like
brain control you.
straight moonshine.
Yeah, that'll kill the bacteria and the brain cells. Win-win. Sam Axe, Bruce Campbell, going around, getting with all the older ladies, getting sweet perks like cars and alcohol. And his deal is he also knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. Like if Michael needs like I need some intel on this, he'll be like, yeah, I'll call a buddy of mine who works at this department, or like I have a buddy who's got a brother who works here. So he's got like this massive network. That's his role.
Okay.
And also Michael's mom, who only shows at the beginning of this book and then goes away, which is fine by me.
What's the problem here?
What's the problem with what?
I mean, like, what's the problem? Just get another job.
No. That's his dream job. That's what he always wanted to do, and he also can't leave Miami. Ben, if you were trapped in Miami, wouldn't you do anything to get out?
Why can't he leave Miami?
If he leaves Miami, the feds will be all over him.
Why aren't they all over him in Miami?
Because that's where they've stuck him.
Is this a thing?
Apparently.
He's put you in a city and you can't leave because why?
Because you're a burned spy.
Why don't they just kill him?
That you watch the show and find out, Ben.
So
this book takes place after the first season, but before the second, or before the end of the second, at least.
okay.
So Michael traced the burn order all the way up to a guy in the CIA, and then when he finally met this guy, the guy is like, "Yeah, this is bigger than both of us," and then he gets shot to death. Ben.
Yeah, they should probably do that to both of them.
Well, the people who shot him aren't the United States government, and they want Michael for various reasons.
Okay.
And then you'll just have to find out from there who they are and why. And it takes them until the 7th season to destroy their entire criminal empire. And then there's also an 8th season, or maybe it's the 6th season.
Is their entire
The
criminal
last 2
empire in
seasons are
Miami?
terrible. No.
Well, then he
Because
can leave Miami.
Michael will eventually get his job back, Ben.
So he needs a job he needs this job to be able to leave Miami.
He needs to get back in with the United States government, Ben.
Why would he want to?
Because that's his dream job, and also he has to learn that it's a bad job, because he will eventually leave that job.
Did he not learn that when they burned
after murdering
him?
one of his supervisors, who, by the way, was behind the whole thing, ? Or was working with the leader of the criminal enterprise, perhaps.
I feel like he should have learned that when they burned him and stuck him in Miami.
Yeah, but it was bad actors, Ben.
I mean,
the CIA would never do this to him. He needs to find out why he's been burned.
I don't know, because it was fun. Why do they do anything they do? Why do they sell crack and then use it to buy, like, why do they sell crack and then use the money to rig elections in South America? No one knows.
Yeah. But he wants to be back there selling that crack and rigging those elections, Ben, for democracy and freedom, question mark.
Question mark. Emphasis on the question mark, I guess. Okay. So what happens in the book?
Yeah, Ben. I'm glad you asked. Because this is literally just an episode of the TV show.
What is an episode of the show like? Is every episode him trying to get back into the CIA?
No, there's always an A plot and a B plot. The A plot is the job of the week. Someone needs help, and so he's got to do something about that. It's like,
So what's his job?
He's a spy, Ben.
For who? What's he? People in Miami need.
He's a freelance spy now, Ben.
In Miami.
Yes.
Who can only go to Miami.
It's a very. He mentions in the book that it has a highly transient population, Ben. Everyone likes to go to Miami for some reason.
I guess, yeah, it's a tourist town, I guess. But
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so he's like a private investigator.
So Guy comes along and is like, yeah, this guy offered me a great investment deal. And he showed me all this shit. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm in. I'll get 200% return. And then as soon as he wired the money over, the FBI busted in. And he managed to escape out the back. And it all came tumbling down. And Michael's like, you're dumb as fuck, and that wasn't the FBI. So now he's got to con this con man to get that money back, and usually he blows some shit up at the end for dramatic effect. That's the A plot. Okay. And then the B plot is the season-long or the half-season-long plot, where he is also doing something else to further gather information on the people who burned him. Ben.
You know, the thing about Murder, She Wrote is
everyone thought she was attractive.
She is attractive to a certain kind of older gentleman.
Bruce Campbell, Sam Axe would be all about that.
If you are telling me right now you don't want to watch a romantic comedy starring Bruce Campbell and Angela Lansbury, I don't even know what we're doing here. No, the most implausible thing about Murder, She Wrote is that anyone ever wants to see Jessica Fletcher, because every time she's anywhere, someone dies.
Yeah, I mean, you have to always have new shit to do, Ben.
There
was something my parents watched that was kind of called like Death in Paradise or something, where a stodgy old British detective goes to a tropical island to be one of 4 policemen because nothing ever happens there. But oh, look at that. Every episode a new person dies. And it's like I feel like over the course of the series, like 1% of the tourist population has died. I think we should look into this.
I feel like
murder should not be happening this often.
I don't know how many seasons Murder, She Wrote is, but like a season of Murder, She Wrote is 26 episodes. So at the bare minimum, Jessica Fletcher has solved at least 80 murders, most of them close personal friends or family acquaintances.
There's 12 seasons.
So, hundreds of murders.
312 murders.
Yeah, so I guess he's just a private eye with this side plot of he's trying to get back at the people that burned him.
Sure. He blows up a lot more things and goes undercover way more often than a private eye. But sure, yeah, basically.
Well, how does he get away with blowing people up?
Well, Ben, that is a great question, and it comes up in like the 3rd season. And then he has to outmaneuver a detective because he doesn't just want to like murder a detective who is on his trail for
blowing people up.
All the explosives,
which is illegal.
C4 that he keeps. Like, well, I mean, it's Florida, so I mean, like, you wait a few years, it'll be legal. But yeah, back then, during the Bush years.
I was
we
standing
didn't-
my ground with that remote detonated explosive.
Yeah. So he's got to outmaneuver this detective, and
Why doesn't he just blow him up?
well, what he does is he goes after a criminal that he knows the detective wants, and leaves enough evidence behind at the crime scene that the detective could put two and two together that Michael was there, and then it's like, if you keep looking into me, you'll unravel yada yada. I'm not gonna look. Point is, he gets away with it because Stone Cold said so.
Okay. So the real plot of this one is this guy has made a bad investment.
That was an episode.
Oh.
No, the plot of this one is that uh, an old Russian acquaintance is here and in the drug game. And one of their sources in Washington is okay. All right, Ben. There's two plots here, and they both merge into each other, and even I'm a little confused.
Okay.
And I read through the reviews, and they're also like, So we're gonna walk through this step by step.
Step by step.
And you're gonna help me figure out what the fuck is going on.
All right, Detective Ben is on the case. So far, an old Russian drug contact is in town for drug business.
Yes. It starts with Michael scene. Michael is eating lunch at a hotel with his mom. And Michael's looking around going, there's an awful lot of like, he's hyper vigilant. So he's seeing a lot of field agents. Let's just call them that.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's
And
like a lot of
so-
gringos in this hotel.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of doughy white guys in suits hanging around watching him.
Okay.
So basically
You're really struggling with this.
I'm struggling, Ben. So what happened here? So this part I understand.
Okay.
I don't know what an SIB agent is, but I assume it has something to do with Special Investigation Branch. That doesn't sound right. Oh, that looks like British. I don't know. Look, basically, they're waiting for Fiona, his ex, to show up with a bunch of guns so they can bust her. But she was already aware that it was a setup. So she doesn't show up, and Michael just fucking leaves, and then some bullshit happens at the hotel. Let's get Michael's attention, Ben.
Okay.
He's going to go back to that hotel soon to get information and then meet with a former Russian spy who is in the drug game.
Which drug?
Shut up.
All of them?
All of them, probably. I'm guessing coke because it involves the Colombians.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, Sam has also roped Michael into another job.
Maybe it was tariff-free coffee.
How dare you? Don't even joke about that.
Yeah, maybe they're just smuggling. The tariffs have finally reached the point where they're just smuggling coffee now. I'm okay with that.
I can't even imagine an episode of Burn Notice today.
Dodging ICE agents.
So a friend of Sam's girlfriend
Okay.
named Cricket O'Connor. That's a real name that a real person put on a page.
All right.
That's some Nate level naming right there.
What's the joke? Like, if J.K. Rowling had an Irish character, it'd be Potatoes O'Malley.
She said something like there was a Jewish character in
Yeah.
Hogwarts, David Goldsmith, or something.
It's like David Goldstein.
It's like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
really, really. Oh God, yeah. So Cricket, her husband is in danger, Ben,
Cricket's
and also
lady?
all of her money is being stolen.
Wait, I'm sorry.
She's being extorted. Ben.
I didn't realize. Is Cricket a feminine name?
Yes, Cricket is a lady, Ben.
Okay.
So Cricket married a dude who was super wealthy, and they proceeded to have, I think, 0 kids. No, wait, they had 1 kid who then enlisted in the war, and he died.
Wait, they were rich?
Yeah.
Why did he enlist in the war?
He enlisted in the war because he had something to prove. And she was like, he really didn't need to do that.
No.
And I really wish he hadn't. But he did.
No,
He's dead now.
There's no draft on
And then
that.
her husband died unexpectedly. And he had a bunch of illegitimate children, but she still ended up keeping a decent amount of wealth. I don't know what the illegitimate children, if that was needed for the story, but that's what we're rolling with. And then Cricket decides to she gets with some other guy, right?
Okay.
Dixon Woods, Ben.
It's a terrible name.
Awful name. I don't know why they're all like that now.
I feel like that's just
Now-
intentionally funny.
Well, Michael's like, okay, why do I know that name? And Sam's
Why
like,
do I
"Oh,
know
he
that
was-"
name? Because like a teenager wrote it on a bathroom stall
Yeah,
once.
yeah. It's bullshit.
His name
It's
is
a fake
Dixon
name.
Woods.
Hey, I knew a guy named Preston Dick.
Why? Did his parents
mean.
hate him? Yeah.
They must have, right? Because that's just mean.
Oh boy.
They're like, yeah, Dixon Woods. he was in yada yada yada. Not important, but that's why you know him. He's in special forces. Now, Michael immediately points out that the guy, her husband, who had sudden financial trouble, who goes by the name Dixon Woods, that's not his real name.
Shocking.
He probably isn't really your husband, and he's just extorting you to steal all of your money. And we, as the audience, have to just know that Michael is telling the truth. You see, Ben, as we're going to find out, there are 2 people in play here.
You know why you're laughing. No one else knows why you're laughing.
Stupid. No, so she's getting extorted by a bunch of really fat accountants.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna stop you here, and I'm gonna try to summarize what's happened so far. If you survive the night.
Oh God.
Okay, so here's what I understand happened so far. There was a hotel. There were a lot of agents of the Men in Black at the hotel, and they were there to arrest Michael's ex-girlfriend, but she didn't show up because she had been alerted to it. And now Michael's current girlfriend, who is not his ex-girlfriend, is Cricket.
No, he is not dating Cricket. This is a friend of Sam's current girlfriend. Who is an not elderly, but like upper middle age.
Oh, okay. So this is a friend of Bruce Campbell's girlfriend.
Yes.
Okay. Cricket is the friend of a girlfriend. Okay.
Yes.
And Cricket had a husband.
2 husbands, but one of them is dead now and left her a bunch of money, and now she has
And
a
that's the
current
one with all the
husband.
bastard children.
Yes.
Okay.
And that doesn't come into the rest of the plot at all, but it's nice flavor text, I guess.
It's a red herring. So, okay.
And then her current husband goes by Dixon Woods,
Her current husband's
and
name is Dixon
he
Woods.
suddenly disappeared and told her he was in fear for his life. And then a bunch of really fat accountants came over. We don't know they're accountants yet until later in the book when Michael pistol whips one of them.
Well,
Anyway,
if you're to be fair, if you're an accountant, you're legally obligated to identify yourself when you invade someone's home.
Anyway, they've been coming by every 2 weeks and sticking her up for money and threatening to murder Dixon.
Accountants.
She doesn't know they're accountants yet.
Well, probably not, because they're threatening to murder people instead of sue them, which is...
They're threatening to murder him if she doesn't pay them.
No.
So she does.
Why?
And she's being extorted out of all of her money, Ben. Because she is in fear for her and her husband's life. But Michael says that she's an idiot and he's ready to walk out on the job, but she uses her money to help other people who are affected by the war in Afghanistan.
Other people who have been fired by the CIA, other displaced agents who need... Okay.
She hosts a bunch of charity balls and bullshit to help those affected by the 2 wars.
The CIA started the wars. What the fuck?
That wasn't Michael. He's in a different part of the world.
You're trying to start another war. I was trying to start the war with Russia.
Yeah. I mean, most of his work was during the Cold War in Russia, so...
During the Cold War? How old is he?
He's in his 30s. But this is like 20 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did the Berlin Wall fall?
91?
Okay. So he's getting out of high school?
He did enlist when he was 17. He forged his dad's signature or some shit. No, his mom. It's a touching moment because his mom forged his dad's signature to allow him to enlist or something. And
in the CIA?
Yeah. Well, just in the army. Then he goes through and eventually gets into the CIA.
And he was in the he was fighting the Cold War.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe. What else are you gonna do?
Maybe
when you need to get out of the house in a hurry because your dad is an abusive piece of shit. Why not join the army before you can even legally do that?
Okay. I feel like you'd have to. Okay, whatever.
Am I selling you on this? I feel like I'm selling.
So there's a bunch of accountants. We don't know they're accountants. I understand that.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of men claim. Do they claim to have her husband kidnapped, or
they claim that he's in danger. He claims he's in danger. They claim they can kill him. So she just kind of puts 2 and 2 together. They're working together, Ben, is what we find out, and what Michael pretty much surmises right at the start.
No,
because Michael's like, this guy isn't Dixon Woods, number 1. And also, he's probably working with these guys and extorting you for your money.
Yeah, no,
you actually probably aren't even really married.
This isn't Dixon Woods. This is Longfellow Peckerwood.
Hold on. I'm pulling up my notes, Ben.
Okay.
It's gonna be important. Oh God. Okay. So. I'm gonna have to yada some stuff.
No.
Actually, no. We can figure out, Ben.
Okay.
Why does Bruce Campbell go to this PMC that is linked to Dixon Woods? How did he know that they were linked? Because it turns out that they were in fact linked.
Why did he go to what?
He goes to a PMC, Private Military Corporation.
How the hell would I know what that is?
God, because if I said that like 20 years ago, you would have been like, God damn it. I know exactly what you mean.
No one knows what that is.
Like Blackwater?
I know what Blackwater is.
There you go. PMC, Ben.
Yeah, okay, mercenaries.
Yeah, but we need to, we need to make it sound like it's an official
Legal?
bureaucratic thing. Yeah. Private Military Corporation.
Yeah, okay.
Wink, wink.
So it's just black. How many of them are there?
There's more, I think, than we realize. Like in reality, I mean.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean,
Why doesn't Michael just go work for one of them?
because he couldn't leave Miami if he doesn't get his burn notice lifted, Ben.
That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry.
Ben.
I don't think that's, I'm just going to go on the record. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that's a thing the CIA does.
Well, I mean, it's the FBI that's monitoring him stateside, Ben, because it'd be ludicrous for the CIA to do anything stateside.
Yeah,
because
no,
they're
they
not
never,
allowed
they
to.
wouldn't imagine. They
They
definitely
would never.
They would never.
They would never.
They don't sell crack in the ghetto. Go on.
Absolutely not. Glad we're on the same page. CIA only do things on foreign soil.
Noble things.
Noble things. They're protecting democracy and freedom with that crack.
Well, for some people. They're protecting certain democracies and certain freedoms.
So Michael and Fiona go to a magazine that held all these that took pictures at these charity balls. I love your facial reaction.
Okay, so they go to a magazine.
And they managed to compile a picture of fake Dixon Woods' face. And Fiona's like,
there was no picture of him? She didn't have a picture
No.
of her husband?
No, because he was very clear that bad guys could be out to get him and he might have to leave just at any given time. And for her own protection, they can't have pictures.
How old is Burn Notice? Do they not have cell phones?
They have cell phones.
Okay.
So the magazine manages to get pictures of parts of his face as he puts his hands up to the camera, Ben.
This
As
is
you do.
This is a weird
This is
detail.
a very strange, yeah. So apparently he had contacted Fee a few months ago to buy guns from her.
Who the hell is Fee? That's the ex?
Fiona, that's
Okay.
the ex. Meanwhile, Sam goes to the PMC
Okay.
because I guess Dixon is running some operation in Afghanistan. Possibly opium. I don't know. They keep mentioning that.
Oh,
and
is
I
that
don't
going to be
think it's
tied to the
true.
Russian drug man?
Yes.
Okay. It's fitting together now. I see the connections.
But I don't know why he went to this PMC, because this is real Dixon Woods.
Can I just tell you, every time you say PMC, I hear PNC, which is a bank. And it makes sense for somebody to go to a PNC if they need cash, for example.
I would rather go to a wealthy woman in Florida who recently lost her husband.
Why does a mercenary company have an office you could just walk into?
So that's for the stateside logistics and shit. It's all the management and bureaucracy.
Right,
that
but like,
goes
why can
into
Bruce
that.
Campbell just walk into it?
Because I can't remember exactly. I think he had an inn over there, and then he pretended to then be from Afghanistan.
Bruce Campbell pretended to be from Afghanistan.
Well, I mean, pretended to have been deployed, not like a citizen of
Bruce
Afghanistan.
Campbell. I've seen Bruce Campbell recently. Elderly, overweight Bruce Campbell pretended to have been recently deployed to Afghanistan.
Hey, it's Ed or Nate. In fairness to the book, this was in 2007 when Bruce Campbell was a little less elderly and a little less overweight. And also, he could have been in Afghanistan 5 or 6 years prior to that because it was 2007. So, you know, he had plenty of time in those intervening years to put on a bunch of weight and also age sexily. So, you know, fuck you, Ben. Yes.
Okay. Man, what if you went back in
And
time
then
and you
he
told them
hits
what was going to
on,
happen with Afghanistan?
and then he hits on. Oh,
I just remembered what
be.
happened with Afghanistan.
Uh,
It
we
turns out we just bought the
built a
Taliban.
democracy.
We
over
bought the
there.
Taliban a gym.
We built a democracy over there, Ben, and also. You can say we built the Taliban a gym, but we also lined the pockets of a lot of shady contractors that whose work we never checked on over 1, 2, 3, 4 different presidents. I had to count there.
So am I?
4 presidents and 6 terms.
Am I supposed to
between them.
like Michael?
Yes.
I don't.
Well, he helps people out, Ben, while also trying to get his job back.
I don't think he does.
But he's going to bring a Russian agent and an opium dealer and a con artist to justice.
To save a.
Also blow up a room in a hotel.
It was the Futurama joke where it's like the value of the gemstone you saved is worth marginally more than the damage you caused. A net gain for our fair city.
There you go.
Okay. So, and the person he's saving already independently wealthy.
Yeah, I mean, he said he's never going to get all of her money back, but he's doing it because she.
But a small portion of her
using
money
her-
is a lot to everybody else.
Yes, but also he's doing it because she's helping these military families. Otherwise, he would have told her to kick rocks or suck rocks. I don't know what the phrase is. Why not both? Kick and suck rocks.
I think you kick rocks. I think you suck eggs.
You could do all of the things to both of them.
Okay.
Suck my egg rocks. I knew this was going to be a challenge because I'm remembering things as they happen. I'm like, wait, why did they do that? I had fun with this book, Ben.
Okay.
All right. So then also he goes back to that hotel, Ben, from the beginning. And that's where he meets a Russian agent who he used to know, who tried to poison him in the past, and who also they have fucked in the past.
Oh, the Russian agent?
Yes.
So this is also a woman, or is this a very progressive
Yes.
show? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Obviously, it's a woman. Natalia. I
Of
remember
course.
her name.
Of course, her
and
name
does
is
not change.
Natalia. Natalia or
Obviously.
Natasha. I don't know if it's allowed to be another one.
I think they just have the two.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why you're bringing that up. That's a low blow.
Does she have red hair?
Because no, she doesn't have red hair.
Blonde?
But after after the communists overthrow the Tsar, they standardized female names to only be one of the two. I think Anna is also something that you can possibly do, but
Only when they're old.
Just those. Yeah, exactly. Only when they're old. You get 2.5 names for females in Soviet Russia. They're still recovering from that. It's a real sore subject. Also, this was a glorious time before Russia invaded Crimea or Ukraine, so there's that.
This was back when the Russians were funny.
Yeah. Like, ha funny.
Oh, boy. I feel like the
Anyway,
target
a bunch
demographic
of drug
of this
money
show
is missing.
is way older than you.
What's that?
So I feel like the target demographic of this show is way older than you.
Well, that's where you're wrong, Ben.
I know. The thing is, I know that about Murder, She Wrote, and Me. Okay. I know that's a show for old women. I don't care.
Do they blow anything up?
In Murder, She Wrote?
Because they should.
Not often. Not every episode, that's for sure.
Anyway, Natalia, we find out, tricks Michael. She's trying to get out of the game, kind of, and also has kids. Perhaps.
Kind of.
Turns out those don't actually exist, but she lets Michael believe that they do. And she has sources that inform her that Michael is implicated along with some Colombians in stealing some of the Russian drug money, and she has like a week to get that money back and or murder Michael. So make with the money or else I'm going to kill you.
Counterpoint, I blow you up.
Yeah.
So does he blow her up?
Yeah, exactly. Now.
Oh.
Not yet, anyway. The explosions come in later.
Okay.
Also, Michael has a brother named Nate. I'm going to throw that one out there.
Okay. And all of these people know he's in Miami trapped.
Yes.
And they don't, like, call a newspaper or a senator.
No. They do later go to a senator. That's a whole thing. And then... Look, shut up, Ben.
Okay.
So... Yeah, you said... The quote from the beginning of this chapter is the difference between being a spy and being a criminal is largely one of sanctioning.
I didn't say there was a difference. I mean, also, aren't you a criminal now?
Yeah, but
you got burned.
It'll be okay when he gets that burn lifted.
You know,
he is working with a money launderer later in this book.
You see the flaw.
Set up some offshore accounts.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to figure out even where I am right now. Like just in general.
So a lady's getting.
So we've got. So Ben.
There's drug money.
Let's
opium.
See. How does
okay,
he...
the Dick Penisman is running an opium operation in Afghanistan that the Russians are involved in somehow.
Okay. That's true.
That's how far you've gotten.
I think. I mean, it is possible that's true.
And now the generic white man, I already forgot his name, Michael, which is a pretty generic white man name, has to break up an opium ring that appears to be halfway around the world. I don't know how he's going to do that.
Yeah, we're going to have to somehow get him to come to us, Ben.
Who? Dick Bean?
Yeah, Dick Bean. So, God, I'm trying to figure out how did he he gets in contact with the guy. Oh, that's right. They find Dixon Woods' mom who lives locally.
Of course. It'd be a real fucking problem if she didn't.
I mean, she's not in Miami, but she's up the coast. So Sam can go out there. I cannot remember just how in the hell they will eventually get in touch. Oh, the accountants. That's probably what it was. Look, this all feels jumbled because it all was kind of jumbled in my head as I was reading it.
It feels
So
jumbled because it's jumbled in your head. That's your
yes,
definition. That's your excuse. Okay.
yeah, this is the words about books experience. You get the experience I had reading the book, which is to say,
Confused.
I enjoyed the book, and also I kind of understand like the major bits, just
Do
not the
you
connective tissue between them.
do you think
Yeah,
that's the
Ben, because
experience they're having? They're enjoying it, but still getting the
here
major
comes
bits?
these three guys who
Okay.
are they're coming over to extort Cricket O'Connor, a real person with a real name,
All right.
because they come by predictably every 2 weeks, and Michael's there. He gives them a fake name. He lets him in the house. They're a little like put off, like who the fuck is this guy? They don't, but they're accountants and bullies. Ben, they're not trained professionals or whatever. One of them has a handgun from probably a different century, some sort of antique revolver or some shit.
I shall use my blunderbuss to dispose of the
They're
fiend.
also all fat and pasty. So he leads them into the main room. Well, actually, they go into the main room. He goes behind them, and he's like, I could shoot all of them in the back of the head right there. But no. Counterpoint. Instead, pistol whips a guy's all the front teeth out of his skull. He's pretty fucked up. And then in the ensuing struggle, one guy fires revolver into friend's leg and destroys that dude's leg. And then Michael extracts some information from them, like who they are, because they're stupid enough to bring business cards for some reason for their accounting firm. And
Why are legitimate accountants doing this?
because they're not like they're legitimate in the sense that they're definitely going to go to prison for the real estate bubble collapsing very shortly,
No
because
one
they're
goes to prison for that.
it's probably fair. We didn't know that at the time, Ben. We thought that maybe the system would work back in the good old days when George W. Bush was president.
That was
Hashtag that's my president.
that was peak when I thought the system was working. Yep. Yeah, that's when I really knew things were going to go great.
So yeah, they may not go to prison, but the extortion probably will put them in prison. And also, the bubble is currently collapsing, and they will definitely go bankrupt, and they're fucked. They're fucked, and the one guy who is uninjured, Michael speculates, is already looking for the exit door to get the fuck out of this situation.
You think
because,
is because he's a genius? Because Michael's an insightful genius.
He's some sort. Yes.
He's thinking that the one guy he hasn't beat the shit out of is looking to escape.
You walk into you walk into a house expecting to extort an elderly woman, and you leave the house. Your friend has fewer teeth, and your other friend has to emergently go to the hospital because his leg has been blown fucking apart by your ancient revolver that fires what, like metal slugs? I don't know, man.
I think they all do that.
It's maybe it's time to hit the old offshore bank account and
stick to
bail.
financial crimes. I don't know why you're doing footwork. Usually the accountants pay a street tough to do this, you know?
Yeah. But they were being threatened or something. That was his excuse. I don't think it's true. I think they're just partners. And who's he partners with, Ben? Not Dixon Woods. It's fake Dixon Woods, Ben, whose name is
Longfellow Peckerwood.
Eddie Champagne, Ben.
Okay. Will he be
It's a real name.
releasing a new metal album this year, or
he will be going to prison for
they're not
being
mutually
implicated
exclusive?
in blowing up the room of a hotel, Ben.
Oh. But not
And Michael is going to extort these accountants. go into business together.
Uno
We're
reverse.
going to cut out Eddie, and you're going to give me a bunch of money, or I'm going to murder you.
So does Michael
So they give him money.
deal
This is
opium
later.
now?
He goes to their office and gets money from them,
Okay.
which he will then give to Cricket, and also he will put in a account for him that he will use against the Russian Ben. It's all coming together. And then Dixon Woods calls him. I can't remember how or why. I think, he calls the PMC, which is not a bank, but a private military corporation. And he gives them a bunch of information. And then he gets a call from Dixon, I guess. It gets transferred to him, I guess. And then he convinces Dixon that they should go into business together. Also, I've got Eddie Champagne. Oh yeah, Eddie shows up at the house and he beats the fuck out of Eddie and ties him up. I've got this Eddie Champagne who's been doing shit in your name. I know how much you hate being in the limelight or whatever. How about, as a courtesy to you, I'll hand him over to you. You can like murder him or whatever. I don't care. And then like we do business because I can use some of that drug money, dog. I can supply, or no, you supply, I'll distribute.
That's how that would work.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are they going to get
Yeah.
the opium from Afghanistan to Miami?
When you have a PMC, I assume you just have the capacity to move shit in and out of a country. And also, if I give you enough money, look over there.
That can't be.
I don't know if you snort opium.
Okay.
You smoke it.
Walk me through this, right?
Okay.
Okay. So there's Russians who are next to Afghanistan, smuggling drugs from Colombia, who is next to Miami. And there are people in Miami.
I think the Russians and the Colombians were supposed to be working together, and then one shortchanged the other.
Right. So the Russians and the Colombians are selling drugs, right? But then, why don't you Russian work with the Afghanistan and the Miami?
Because there are American troops in there, Ben.
Work with the.
We're building a democratic state.
It's gonna last forever.
It's gonna last
a
forever.
new empire.
It's turning out wonderfully.
Oh god.
So,
tell you what, Cricket's broke.
So yeah, she only gets a few $1 million, Ben. Which, yeah, it's like being a poor person. I'm pretty sure.
It is in 2025.
Well, this is 2007.
It's not great then either. Yeah.
So, yeah, he God, what happened? I know that Dixon initially was like, the deal's off, but then they managed to make it back on, and I don't remember why, and I'm just moving on.
Okay.
And so he goes to that hotel from the beginning to meet Natalia, but also he told Dixon Woods to be there. And also, Sam has brought Eddie there and has a room. And also Fiona is with Michael. Okay? And before this, they also made a bunch of tear gas because they thought that they were going to be able to lure Dixon into the house and then use it to spray through a sprinkler system or something. But they disconnected that then, and now they have just tear gas on their own. Anyway, Michael shows up, and he gives Natalia, wires her the money that he extorted from those accountants. Not the money that he gave to Cricket, but the money he had on hand for his fake alias that he made up for this entire book. Then, that's done. We, settled. She has her money, and now she doesn't have to murder Michael. Hooray. And also, the people that were watching her also stand down because there were people watching her because she was in hot shit over this whole thing because she was implicated in stealing the money or something, and then also it was really Michael and Colombians, but actually it wasn't Ben. So he quote returned the money and except not. Anyway, then the more I'm thinking about this, the more I'm like, wow, this was not a very complex plan. Ready? So Dixon shows up. Real Dixon, not fake Eddie Champagne Dixon. Though his name is still Dixon Woods, I can't imagine that. And so Dixon actually recognizes Michael. You think that's going to be a thing, but then you look and you're like, there's only like 10 pages left in this book. I think we're done here. And he manages to, I think with that money and with the accountants, he's somehow linked Natalia and Dixon in some sort of business venture or something. Ben, I don't know why that was important, and I don't think it was, but I think it will be important because then it would implicate Dixon in some sort of crime, I think.
As opposed to the crimes he's committed?
Well, yeah, but if he's doing that on the US's dime, so, you know.
You're allowed to do it.
You're allowed to do it. Hey, the
Over
difference
there.
between being a spy and a criminal is
Where you do it.
sanctioning. Yeah. If the U.S. government says it's not a crime, it's not a crime, Ben. I don't know why you can't understand that.
I think they have said it's a crime, though.
Well, now it's a crime that they can trace back to Dixon because it's going to be connected to a Russian agent.
How does any of his stuff ever stick in court?
Secret military court in this case, Ben.
Because, like, he can't testify, right?
Yeah, but it's all there, Ben. I think they
And nobody's ever like, no, there was this guy named Michael who set me up.
yeah, he doesn't officially exist, Ben. And all the information is on like a hard drive that he leaves nearby for them to find, if I remember correctly. And as you can tell, I'm remembering a lot of things correctly right now.
You should probably put this on some kind of hard drive so you remember it.
Yeah. Exactly. So he's implicating them in these crimes, and then he also has the bank transactions that prove such a thing, Ben. And also, she's already probably on some watch list or some shit. Look, Ben, the time for talking is over. The time for tear gas to the face is now.
Why? Didn't he set everybody up?
Yeah, he set everybody up, and then he tear gassed them right in their faces.
Why does he tear gas them?
Because he needs them to be here for when the cops show up.
Why?
Because Sam is busy blowing up a hotel room that Eddie Champagne is hiding in the bathroom of. Well, Sam put him in the bathroom, then blew up the room, and then framed Eddie for the explosion.
Eddie blew up his own hotel room?
Eddie accidentally blew up his own hotel room.
Why did they kill Eddie?
They didn't. He's probably fine in the bathroom. He goes to jail. He probably just has minor TBI.
How blown up was this room? I guess.
It was pretty blown up. You're not gonna rent that room anytime soon.
Just not the bathroom.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I think that the accountant's firm was already under scrutiny already, and they're wiring money to fake Michael's account, and then he wires that money to Natalia's account, and then also something with Dixon Woods, and then tear gases them in the face.
Okay. And nobody's gonna wonder who tear gassed them?
Ben, the cops have shown up.
But like when they say,
what do you mean?
When they say somebody set us up, like, okay, he doesn't.
Oh, also for some reason, the photographer from that magazine was also invited here to take pictures of the event, of an event that didn't actually exist, so that there can be. I don't know why they did that. I think the author thought maybe he was tying everything together, but I was like, you're just tear gassing two people, making some fraudulent wire charges, leaving it was a BlackBerry full of documents and shit to ruin these people, and then he blew up a hotel room.
I feel like he would get caught.
Not when you're the best damn spy in the world, Ben.
How do people find him to get help?
Usually, friends of his group of friends, like friends of Sam or friends of his mom sometimes, and then eventually just shit spreads by word of mouth, which you probably wouldn't want, but don't think about it. Shut up.
I was
Ben.
going to say, that's the thing, right? Like, he's all over this place. He's met multiple people, and like, yeah, okay, you could say he doesn't exist. He doesn't have a social security number or whatever, but like,
yeah,
they're all going to be like,
Who
yeah,
doesn't,
we
Ben?
saw this. Maybe that's why he looks so generic.
There you go.
They can't.
You cracked the code.
They can't find him because everybody, when they describe him, the police sketch artist always just comes back with a square and a triangle, and he
He's
gets
a white
away
guy
again.
with black hair.
He's a white guy. He's a white guy with dark hair and a white suit in Miami. Find him.
God damn it. I knew it.
He's probably at the Margaritaville.
Hell yeah. The good old days before that guy was dead.
There's still Margaritaville.
Yeah, but it's not the same now that he's dead, Ben.
Who is that guy, Nate?
Is it Ted Nugent, Ben?
No.
I'm just throwing out names here.
No, it's not Ted Nugent.
Oh, God.
It was Jimmy Buffett.
Oh, God. I'm glad he's dead. No, I'll cut that. Yeah, so anyway, we saved the day, Ben, for democracy.
I still don't know why you had to tear gas those people or blow up a hotel room.
Well, Fiona really hated Natalia. So, like, and we already had this tear gas. What do you want me to not use it?
I also don't super know why Fiona's there.
To be backup for Michael and also tear gas someone in the face. She's backup in case things go tits up and you need someone who will pull out a gun at a moment's notice and start blowing people away, Ben.
Why would you want her to do that? Because then she's just going to go to jail.
Because she's going to go to jail. That sounds like quitter talk. I bet we could make her disappear for a few seasons and we'll be fine.
In case she gets like cast in a movie or something. We got to get rid of the actress for a little while. Yeah, okay. I'm starting to remember why I didn't watch Burn Notice.
Because it was too great?
When I want to watch like a dumb old people show, I want it to be about old people. That's what I'm realizing. NCIS, Murder, She Wrote,
NCIS.
Poirot. I think the problem is they tried to make this sexy, and it's not working for me.
Yeah. I think what you're saying is that you need more tear gas in those detective
I
stories.
don't fully know why they tear gassed anyone. Still,
so that they wouldn't escape, Ben.
Why
when
didn't she
the
just
feds busted in the hotel?
Just have the feds come on time.
Because then we would also still be there. We need them to come about 30 to 60 seconds after to give us enough time to get the fuck out,
Well, you
but
couldn't just
not
lock 'em
enough
in?
time for them. No, because then it would be like, well, why are they locked in here?
As opposed to why
Now
have they
it's
been
just,
tear gassed?
why are they on the ground clawing their eyes, Ben? Exactly. Now you're starting to think like a spy.
Yeah. Yeah, the trick is to leave no trace.
Yeah.
like homemade
There was
tear
no
gas.
trace. No trace whatsoever, Ben.
Okay.
They all go to jail, and then Michael gets some cryptic call about how, good job, Michael. That was all part of the plan. I think that
Michael.
the plan was for him to get rid of Natalia, but I don't know. The end.
We're building a team, Michael.
That was the hot new thing at the time.
The USA Avengers. It's Michael.
They could have
Leroy
done it.
Jethro
It would have
Gibbs.
been terrible, but let's do it. I would watch that. I would watch a season of that and be disappointed. Let's do it.
Elliot Stabler, Leroy Jethro Gibbs, Michael, whatever his last name is. Are you? Do you want to rubric this?
Yeah. All right, Ben. Blog.wordsaboutbooks.ninja. Ben.
Mm-hmm.
So, content and ideas. A 3. It's
Can I make a prediction?
Can
I make a prediction?
What?
I'm gonna say like 3, 3, 3, 4, 3 is your rubric.
You said 3, 3, 3, 4, 3?
Yeah.
Well, that's where you're wrong, Ben. Is slightly-ish. So, anyway, content and ideas, Ben.
Okay, 3.
A 3.
Walk me through your process.
It's burn notice. It's burn notice, so it's not really original, and also it's like one of the lesser episodes that you don't ever want to go back and really watch again. Like you're you're gonna watch it if you haven't, because like you gotta catch them all. But like,
yeah, you got to familiarize yourself with the entire canon because there could be important elements about the mystery of what Michael's last name is.
Weston.
Oh, well, no, you don't have to watch it then.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. If you want more of the show, there you go. Organization, Ben. Gave it 2.5. Because I don't understand why some of the things were done.
Gave it 2.5.
Everyone just acted like that was a thing.
There's 2.5 stories here.
Well, a lot of the people were like, I didn't get how any of this was connected to the Russians, and I was like, no, I think I got that. I don't know, like, why is there a guy named Dixon Woods and then another guy pretending to be a guy named Dixon Woods, also with a dumb name? What does that have to do with the PMC? I don't know why you guys are doing the things you're doing or going to the places you're going, but like, good for you, I guess. It's all coming together. It was a bunch of fat accountants and a con man and an opium dealer and a Russian spy. We did it, people.
It was a post 9/11 world.
It was.
It is.
Where was Michael on 9/11?
I can't answer that. I have my thoughts.
Word choice. 3. Great. Moving on. Personal preference. 4, Ben.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought? I liked it. I also liked that I was able to get through it pretty quickly, even though I didn't understand half of what was going on.
My favorite thing about it was its length.
Hey, at least it didn't hold me down and make me read an additional 300 pages, you know?
It didn't tear gas me until the cops came.
There you go. Recommendation strength, Ben. I gave it a 4.
Oh, okay.
With the preface being anyone who would like the show or want to get into the show would like this, but if you don't, just avoid that. So done.
I love the potential reader who's like, "Oh, I really want to try to get into Burn Notice, but I just don't know where to start."
Yes, this book exactly.
Like Burn Notice is just such a classic with so many moving pieces that.
Yes, I'm glad we're on the same page, Ben.
Yeah. It should have just
Do you
been
remember
Bruce
that
Campbell.
shocking betrayal when the CIA hired a crazy person who committed a bunch of war crimes to work for them?
Which time?
And Michael was shocked, and that was what finally turned him off on the idea of working for the CIA forever.
That's fucking all they do.
It wasn't him not working for the CIA. That didn't happen when it turned out that his mentor betrayed him and he had to murder his mentor, and also his mentor got his brother killed. Ben, his mentor, who is played by the same guy who played Dr. Cox from Scrubs, so I can't see him as anything else than that.
Yeah. Okay.
But he was like, nah, that was just a bad actor in the CIA, Ben. But now you're hiring psychopaths. How can I trust the CIA?
I'd love an episode where somebody's like, can we just discuss like former CIA missions? Like, I don't know.
No.
Let's just.
No, we can't.
What are your thoughts
This
on
isn't up for
MK
discussion.
Ultra, Michael?
I wasn't there.
I know you weren't there. I'm asking if you think like
Bad idea, and also
should we have been giving Charles Manson LSD?
pass. That was on domestic soil.
Yeah,
okay?
where you're not supposed to be doing anything.
Exactly.
So it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Yeah.
And also I'm pretty sure those people were brought to justice or something. That's what I'm gonna say.
Eventually.
Hey, Charles Manson's in jail.
He's dead, but yeah.
Well, his remains are in jail.
Oh,
Yeah, I heard he was a sub.
Okay. No, the only CIA agent I like.
I heard he was a catcher, Ben.
Is Stan Smith from American Dad. Because I genuinely believe he does not know what's going on.
They're spraying democracy, just like Michael Weston. I'm gonna pay you a bunch of money to stop bombing these oil fields that I want.
That's not what they do.
That's all he does. He only does
all I
righteous
did
things.
was pay somebody not to bomb something. I didn't do anything else to see it. Yeah, no, that's not what they do.
Yeah, that's all they did, Ben.
I don't think the CIA
We're just gonna bribe you.
The CIA is not in the business of just giving away money.
Well, I'm sure someone else would come along to betray those people. I mean, come on, Ben. But this is Michael Weston. He's great. He would never do something that would something or whatever.
This is my radical stance. I don't think you can work for the CIA and be great.
Wow, Ben. What would they say in Guantanamo Bay of you saying these things? How dare you?
Now, what would who say? The prisoners or the guards?
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
so
hey,
3 stars.
Hey, maybe in a year or two, USA can make a new TV show about the friendliest ice agent.
They were going. Well, first of all, let's do it, and second of all, they were going to have a spinoff with Bruce Campbell as the lead, and that didn't go anywhere. That's sad.
That should have just been the show.
Yeah.
Ay. Well,
so I sold you on it. When are we going to read the sequel?
You are very, very close to
It's
never
called the end game, Ben.
to never being able to pick a book for this podcast again.
The Giveaway is the third book. The Reformed is the fourth book. They're all thes, Ben. The Bad Beat. Okay.
That's about the sonic weapon they deployed on protesters. No.
That's about my rap album.
So, The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood, which, by the way, the only comment I've heard is that was just part one. Oh, no, I take it back. Somebody did text me to say, I bet you had fun with that one.
Who is that?
This Elden Ring, or not Elden Ring, Elder Scrolls book. Have you started that one yet?
Yeah, they're in a kitchen, Ben, and and someone just got beheaded.
I just feel like I should go on adventures. I don't know if you should go on adventures, miss.
Yeah, please stop going on adventures, you fucking idiot.
I just like to make potions and go on adventures. There's a floating city coming that's going to kill all of us. That sounds like an adventure.
We gotta save the day. We're going to turn the factions against each other. I'm learning a lot about their weaknesses.
How?
Fuck off. Ben, she doesn't know any better. She's a Breton.
This has been a trying summer on Words About Books. I don't know if Words About Books can survive Nate's Nightmare November this year. Like, Ben's Horror Bullshit Month might just get angry.
I figured that was already.
No, like, so far it's been fun, I think. Like, we do everything I've shown you hasn't been like too terrible. It's like this October on Words About Books, the Marquis de Sade. We're just doing it. The most fucked up thing a human's ever written. No, I won't do that. Do you want to shout out the patrons?
Yeah, we can shout out the patrons.
Who you keep trying to blame for this, even though you're specifically now picking the things they didn't vote for.
Yeah. Yeah, that checks out.
So here's a list of people Nate would like to throw under the bus. Isekai Sensei Sama, of that time I got reincarnated in the same world as an anime podcaster podcast. John Bierce, actual author of The Mage Errant, The Rack, and The City That Would Eat the World. Keegan, who has not given me a project to shout out. So hello, Keegan. Jamie, the Gravy Man of the If You Want the Gravy blog. And of course, Spooky Shy with a Y on TikTok.
Cheer up, Ben. After the Infernal City, we get a Court of Mist and Fury.
Well, I mean, it can't be worse.
And then The Man in the High Tower.
That could be. It probably can't be worse than